Alright, so this is technically my third take now. I did 2 takes before. The first one didn't even save, and the second one the audio was weird, so we're just gonna get straight into it, no yapping. Yeah. So today I'll be showcasing the shiny Goku unit in the gem banner. Yep, so as you can see, he's shiny. It's kind of hard to explain how he works, but I technically have the shiny Goku, Vegeta, and Vegito, because they're all packed into one. And as you can see here, he has a different cosmetic. Kind of makes my iPad lag, but if I can find like a comparison between the shiny and non-shiny cosmetics, then I'll try to put that on screen. But otherwise, let's just get straight to the showcase. Alright, so starting off, on placement, this unit costs 1,000, and for a secret, that's pretty good. And off the bat, you'll notice he's getting more damage, and that's because of one of his passives. So his first passive, Hope of the Universe, basically deals with his gauge that you'll see at the top, and his, let's see, I think it's his third passive? Yeah, his third passive is what's giving him damage. So his first passive, essentially, every time you attack, it fills his gauge by 25%. His second one, damage plus 50% on entry after a swap in for 40 seconds. When this unit swaps in, stuns all enemies in its radius for 2 seconds. In its last passive, here it comes. If no enemy is in range, this unit starts gaining damage in range at a rate of 1% per second, up to 100%, and that resets when he attacks. So as you'll see here in the background, he was just gaining damage in range, but he won't anymore. So that's basically his entire passives, and he does have an ability at the end, but we'll get into that later. So starting off, minor stat improvements at upgrade 1, upgrade 2 as well. Upgrade 3 is a new move. He's now a small AoE. I think he was a line before. He does about 6k damage, which is nice. Upgrade 3, no, it's really just stat improvements. Upgrade 4 as well. Really just more minor improvements. He now does 7k damage, 4.4 second cooldown, almost 25 range, and at the top you'll actually notice his gauge is filled up now, and every time his gauge is filled, he can switch between, well, he switches to Vegeta and then back. So now, upgrade 5, again, more minor improvements to his stats. His next upgrade gives him a new move, actually. Now I think his AoE is a bit bigger. He does 12k damage, 5.3 second cooldown, and about 27 range. Upgrade 7 is just more minor improvements to his stats, same with upgrade 8. He does almost 17k damage now, 5.3 second cooldown, and about 34 range. Upgrade 9 now turns him into a cone unit. He does 26k damage, 7.1 cooldown, and about 41 range. And then finally, on his max upgrade, he does 27k damage, 7.1 second cooldown, and about 45 range. Now he actually has a new move as well, which we're going to get into. Essentially, it's a mega nuke. It does 1000% of his damage, it's really good. Essentially, it swaps into Vegito when you use it. It suspends Goku in air, and then it charges for 3 real minutes. And then once it detonates, it does 1000% of his damage map wide. And then also once it's over, he swaps back in. So while it's charging, it automatically swaps to Vegeta, and you can't swap anymore, swapping's disabled. And then once it's over, Goku swaps back in, and you can swap again. It's essentially a really good nuke. Rest in peace Gilgamesh, he got power crept really badly. But yeah, it's a really good nuke. Again, there's not really any enemies you'll see behind me for me to kind of showcase that it's map wide, but 1000% of his damage is no joke, especially if you're using maybe Monarch or something. So yeah, I'm just gonna cut to when he nukes. It's really, really good. Again, RIP Gilgamesh. I don't know if we have that many nuke units as it is, and now we have another one that's essentially 3 times better, so rest in peace if you grinded really hard for Gilgamesh. Maybe he won't be as good of a nuker as we think, but so you'll see here, essentially, real quick before I cut, using the move summons a Goku behind him. Now it's swapped into Vegeta, and the levels actually carry over between swaps, but I will go over Vegeta later. Alright, so the nuke is about to go off. Again, it does 1000% of his damage map wide. You can't click on him and see his range, but I mean, it tells you so. So you can see there it just went off, all those enemies died. Again, it really is hard to tell it's map wide because there's no enemies back there, but if you're doing a map and it's a really big map or you're really struggling, then his nuke's gonna come in handy. Next, I'll swap to Vegeta and kind of go over how he works. He's a bit different than Goku, but they pair together really well. Alright, so I swapped into Vegeta, and again, it might have been kind of unclear earlier, but essentially in this what this first passive for Vegeta says as well, that gauge at the top fills up when they attack, and that lets them swap between Goku into Vegeta, like I just did. So his second passive, the villain arrives, SPA minus 30 on entry after swap in for 40 seconds, and when this unit swaps in, slows all enemies in its radius by 40% for 10 seconds. And then his last passive, every time this unit attacks, gain plus 2% damage, up to 40%. This value carries over between swaps and fusions. A lot to take in, but essentially, when you swap between him and Goku, or even when you fuse into Vegito, he's going to keep the buffs that he gets while he's on the field right now. So if you're playing this unit, you're going to want to swap into Vegeta as early as you can and let him rack up buffs, and then swap into Goku and do your nuke if you want to, or focus on getting Vegito. So starting off, upgrade 0, almost 4k damage, 5.3 second cooldown, and 20 range. And he has a small AoE right now. I think that changes later on, but we'll see. Upgrade 1, minor improvements to his stats. Upgrade 2 as well, he does about 7k damage. Upgrade 3, he's now a line unit. So he went from a smaller AoE to now he does line damage, which is interesting. Upgrade 4 is again just more minor stat improvements. He now does almost 10k damage. Upgrade 5 as well. He has 25 range now. Upgrade 6, now he's a AoE unit. Yep, he does 17k damage, 5.3 second cooldown, and about 27 range. Again, keep in mind this isn't his placement stats, he does get his own buffs. So, upgrade 8 now, again more minor stat improvements, same with upgrade 7. Upgrade 9, actually, he's gonna get another move. Now he's a cone, and his cone's pretty big actually. He does almost 36k damage, 7.1 second cooldown, and about 39 range. And then lastly, upgrade 10, he's going to have an even bigger cone now I think, almost 39k damage, 7.1 second cooldown, and about 45 range. Overall, once he's fully maxed out, he's pretty good, and right here you'll see that's his ability to swap into Vegito. To do that, you need to swap in and out 13 times, and that doesn't count if you place another one. So if I were to swap with this second placement here that I just placed 13 times, that doesn't count towards my first unit here's Vegito. It's kinda hard to explain, but really just focus on swapping with your main first unit here. A lot to take in, but now lastly, I'm just going to cut to when I get Vegito and I'll go over how he works. Alright, so I swapped 13 times and you'll see here, now they do a little fusion, and now they're Vegito. So starting off, you'll see he does 67k damage on placement and he's a cone, which is pretty insane damage for Vigor 1. But really quickly, I just want to get into his passives, and you'll see here, his first passive, on entry gains plus 100% damage for 40 seconds. Once 40 seconds have elapsed, gain 20% damage, decrease SPA by 20%, and increase range by 20%. Attacks ignore enemy dodge chance. So essentially that's why he does so much right now, but he does get a buff even after that's gone. Also, he ignores dodge chance, so if you're playing any match where the enemies dodge, maybe because of a card or their kit, he ignores that. His second passive, if an enemy attacks an ally, it attacks this unit instead. Anytime this unit is attacked, increase range by 3% up to 30%, and attacks inflict rupture. So essentially he can redirect attacks to himself, which is really interesting, and he also inflicts rupture, which stops bleeding, so he's going to be really good for regen enemies. Lastly, attacks ignore 50% enemy damage reduction, and anytime an enemy attacks or applies a status effect on this unit, perform a counterattack on that enemy. So I think his second passive will trigger his third passive, so he's really good for not only redirecting damage between follow-up attacks, counters, and in this game that seems really powerful if you're fighting bosses or things that apply status ailments to your units often in this case. And I think right now Diavolo is the only one who does follow-up attack, or counters in this case, essentially follow-up attacks. I'm not sure there's any other units that do. Maybe there might be some in this update, but so far we don't have stuff like that, usually. So he's a really interesting unit. So starting off, now disregarding his buff, he does 44k damage, 5.7 second cooldown, and 53.3 range. Really good, again, even without that buff, and he has a huge cone. Upgrade Upgrade 1, just minor stat improvements. Upgrade 2, now it seems like he has a AoE, and he does 46k damage, 5.3 second cooldown, and almost 59 range. Upgrade 3 does 47k damage, 5.3 second cooldown, and almost 62-ish range. Upgrade 4, again, he got a new move now. It seems like he's an AoE and a cone. I'm not sure if that's a glitch or if that's intended, but I don't think we have anything like that in-game right now. So this is really interesting. He does almost 49k damage, a 5-second cooldown, and about 64 range. Yeah, I wonder if there's going to be other units that have similar cones and AoEs. Upgrade 5 is just a minor stat improvement. Upgrade 6, now he has a bigger AoE. He does almost 53k damage, he has 4.6 second cooldown, and about 70 range. And then finally, on his max upgrade, he's back up to about 61k damage, 4.3 second cooldown, and about 74 range. Overall, he's a really good unit. We don't have anything like him in-game right now, at least with the cone and the AoE, and the way the fusion works in this game too, and how you can swap between units is really interesting. I'm really excited to see how the devs kind of experiment with this in the future, so hopefully you guys enjoyed the video and it at least somewhat helped out. I can also make a video on how to evolve this unit if it's confusing. There's definitely some videos already, but if you just want to see me yap about it, I could definitely do that. So if that's something you're interested in, then just comment down below and keep a lookout for that.